Hi everyone, welcome back to Probie to Pro. In today's video, we are going to talk about JAs, RONs, and golden days off. Let's start with the big picture. Being JA'd or junior assigned is when you are involuntarily assigned duty on a scheduled day off. A standalone JA is an additional pairing that originates in a domicile on a day off. RONJA, or remain overnight, is when you have to stay at an outstation instead of returning to domicile on the day your pairing was scheduled to terminate. But instead of returning to base, you were either assigned additional flying or were unable to get back to base due to weather, maintenance, or some other kind of disruption. Golden days off are how you try and protect yourself from being JA'd if there is a day that you really want to be off, like your kid's birthday or graduation or something like that. But we'll talk more about golden days off in just a couple minutes. So when or why would I get JA'd? Well, this is the last resort for the company to cover flying prior to canceling trips. If flying is still uncovered after going through the open time processes and there's not a reserve pilot available, the company can assign you or me to cover that flying. Fortunately, Contract 2020 has reduced the number of JAs that we are experiencing and also made it more lucrative when it does happen. But it still does happen sometimes, so let's look at some of the details. First of all, JA events pay double time. That means the minimum daily guarantee of any JA event is 10 trips for pay. You also earn sick leave at the full double time rate. The rest of the provisions concerning JAs are covered in Contract Section 12 PAPA. As with other flying, you are pay protected for the greater of what was assigned or actually flown, which means that once you have acknowledged a JA assignment, you will be paid for it even if scheduling later finds another solution that doesn't involve you flying that trip. The exceptions to this are if you give away that JA assignment or trade it, or if you decline the JA by declaring a hardship, but more on hardships in just a couple minutes. Contract Section 12 PAPA 6 dictates that if you are JA'd, the company will also provide you with must-ride travel to your commute station at completion of the assignment and or a hotel room in domicile before or after the JA pairing. For every duty period of JA, you earn 1 recovery day. A recovery day means that your personal net zero increases by 1. You can then use that net zero to direct drop or trade down an ELIT. And you can also choose to have a future wrap removed as well. Personal net zero is outlined in Contract Sections 12 PAPA 12 and also discussed in 10 Charlie. Okay, a minute ago, I said that you could decline a JA for hardship. What does that mean? Well, that provision exists only for things like being the caregiver for young children or elderly parents. And in order to invoke this provision, you must contact your domicile chief pilot or the chief pilot at the NOC, the Network Operations Center. Okay, so how do I try and avoid being JA'd in the first place? Well, there's no way to guarantee that you'll never be JA'd, but the main contractual protection we have is what we call golden days off, and this is covered in Contract Section 12, PAPA 11. That section says that a pilot will not be reassigned into a golden day off unless there is no other option, like cancellations on the last leg into domicile or a divert that results in timing out. If you are JA'd into a golden day off, you will get that golden day off back to use another time. Which takes us to how many do you get? Well, you can declare 1 golden day off per month up to a maximum of 8 times per year, but you can't use them on holidays. To add a golden day off in Crew Web Access, select Bid Input and then add or remove golden day off. Select the day and hit save. If you want to add a golden day off in the current month, you'll have to call Crew Scheduling. Golden Day Off Override will pay an additional 6.5 TFP for any duty on a Golden Day Off. That will make a 1-day JA duty period into a Golden Day Off pay a minimum of 16.5 trips, as the 6.5 TFP override would stack on top of the duty period minimum of 10 trips for pay. So for you, that's a nice bonus, and for the company, it's an incentive to avoid JAs. Finally, let's talk about the order of JA assignments under Contract 2020. In reverse seniority order, JAs are assigned first to pilots who have not been JA'd in the previous 60 days, who are currently terminating a pairing, and for whom the JA would not result in a work block of greater than 5 duty periods. Second are pilots who have not been JA'd in the previous 60 days, who are currently terminating a pairing, and for whom the JA would result in a work block greater than 5 duty periods. After that, we get to check pilots and then reserve pilots before getting to pilots who have been JA'd in the previous 60 days. But there are some nuances, so for all the details, check out 12 Quebec 8 in Contract 2020. Okay, that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.